What's up, you beautiful people? Welcome back to the channel. Today, I want to talk about the three biggest mistakes in my entrepreneurial career. And I want to share with you a couple of lessons from each one of those. Because I hate when people position themselves in the online coaching guru business space as always having the answers. Everything's going so well. They just show you all of the successes, but they never show you any of the warts, any of the scars, any of the failures. And so in this video, I want to pull back the kimono. If there's any children in the room, go ahead and avert your eyes. Let's dive in. The first epic failure, and this one to this day was still one of the most painful. It had to do with my friend's business that he had asked me to come in and help turn around. And I had been coming off of this sequence of entrepreneurial wins, we'll say. And I was just so young and dumb. Like I hadn't actually been kicked in the teeth in my first business or even my second business. Like they went so smoothly that I took for granted how hard the game actually is and how lucky I had actually gotten. And so I went into that particular business kind of riding too high on my own supply. And as a result, what ensued was I rapidly destroyed the business and we had to put it down, I bet, about 2 years later. And part of that was the business model was fundamentally flawed from the beginning. And this is a really important lesson, is that if the business model is wrong, it doesn't matter how great you are, it's going to fail, right? You need to have the right business model, the right offer. And it took me far too long to recognize that the model itself was broken. And by the time we pivoted and started to see success, it was far, far too late. And we had to shut down the business regardless. And so that's number one, is you can't get tied to your business model and your offer, your pricing stack. You have to be open to the possibility that it's fundamentally flawed. And the way that you can test this, and I didn't know how to do this at the time, was to actually run the money math and actually calculate, does this thing scale? Does it work? Or does it only work within a narrow band? And then as we start to grow outside of that, it falls apart. If I had run those numbers sooner, I would have figured this out. But I didn't. And the reason I didn't, this is another lesson, is that I had a lot of ego at that point. I had this belief that I could make it work, everything I had touched at that point turned to gold. So I was too confident in my own ability. And so one of the things I think about a lot now is we as humans, we tend to ascribe our failures to bad luck and our successes to good skills. So when something works, we typically think, oh yeah, of course it worked, I'm good, right? Like the ball went in the basketball hoop because I'm a good shooter. When the ball misses, we don't necessarily jump straight to I'm a bad shooter. We go, oh, there was wind. I didn't calculate for the wind. That's not my fault. Like there's never wind in a gymnasium, so that would have gone in if I was in the gym, right? We ascribe to bad luck our failures and skill to our victories. And if I had inverted that and realized that my first three businesses were probably based more on good luck than they were skill, then I might have gone into that my friend's business with a different mindset that would have made me more open to asking for help and to actually getting outside myself as being the one that needed to be right all the time because I was the one that knows best. So that's epic failure number one. Epic failure number two occurred in this last year, right? I've talked about it, but my real estate private equity fund, which we had built to about $100 million, imploded. And there was a lot that went on with that one. A lot. We could go for weeks on that one, but I'm going to try and distill it down to two ideas. Number one is the two most important decisions that you'll make in this life is which mountains you choose to climb and who you choose to climb those mountains with. You know, you can measure a man based off of which challenges he undertakes, which mountains he chooses to climb. And if you're on the wrong vehicle, if you're climbing the wrong mountain, then it doesn't matter how well you climb, it doesn't matter how fast you climb, and you're still going to get to the top and it's still going to be the wrong mountain. So you got to be really clear about the business, the opportunity that you're running towards. That's number one. The other side of that, though, is who you climb the mountain with. So the single most important decision you're going to make in this life is who you partner with on your life journey, you know, your spouse, your significant other. But if you're in business, the second most important person is going to be your business partner. And I didn't give that nearly enough credence. I have had such great luck in the past with all my business partnerships. I've never been burnt. Let me think about that. I have never been burnt before this by a business partner. And having been burnt by his actions, I can say it's one of the most painful things you will ever experience in business is when the business partnership just dissolves into chaos, into anger, into shame, into bad feelings. It's just a terrible thing. And so my lesson here is just be really careful about who you partner with. Now, honestly, I was reflecting on this the other day with one of my mentors, and I don't think I could have seen this one beforehand, but maybe I chose to ignore some things. Maybe I didn't notice behaviors early enough. I didn't have the pattern recognition at that point to see it, but all I'm saying is just be really, really intentional, be really, really careful before you get into any business partnerships. The second thing that I took away from this failure is that it might not be your fault, but it sure as shit is your problem, right? When you're in the plane, it doesn't matter if the other guy got up, pulled out a gun, and started shooting the plane's engines, right? Like, you're still going down with the plane. And so you can't be asleep at the wheel. You can't just get out of the cockpit and go sleep in the back and just trust that everything's going to work out just fine. You have to stay engaged. You have to stay present. You have to be involved. And you have to take responsibility that might not have been your fault, but it is your problem. And it's on you to do something about it. And maybe if I had done something sooner, if I had seen the writing, if I had been more in the cockpit, more with my hands on the yoke, maybe we could have saved it from going into the mountains, but didn't. So that's epic failure number 2. The third epic failure is I wish that I had started making content and building brand way sooner than I did. So I started in about 2020. I wish I had started when I started my first business, honestly. Like, if I had started creating content back when I was doing window washing, man, it would have been just so cool to be able to look back and see old young Anthony, bright-eyed, bushy-tailed, such an idiot, trying to figure out this thing. Like, that's number 1, is when you create content, you're giving your future self a gift. To be able to look back and see your younger self and see how you thought, see how you move through the world. Like, just, that's a great gift. If for no other reason, that's a great one just to start creating content. But the other side of it is that it's never too soon to start building your brand, start building your media machine. And it's been the most impactful thing that I did for any of my businesses was building them a media machine to bolt onto them, whether that was window washing or manufacturing, whether that was real estate. It didn't matter. Having distribution makes all businesses easier. And I just wish I had started, because I think about how much money I left on the table with each one of those entities because we didn't have brand, because we didn't have built-in distribution, because as I left one opportunity to go start another one, it's just so much harder to get the flywheel go. It's so hard because you're starting from zero every single time. Brand is the thing that like stays with you from entity to entity as you build. And I just wish I had done that way, way sooner. I think I've left a lot of money on the table, a lot of opportunities, a lot of impact on the table from not having done that far, far sooner. And so that last one for you, as you're listening to this, if you have not started putting out content, if you have not started building your media machine, then I think you're making a massive mistake. You're playing the game on hard mode. You're making it way more difficult than it needs to be. If you want some help building your machine, building it in a way that magnetizes an audience, that mechanizes the system so that you're not burning out, and then that can actually monetize, that can drive eyeballs into dollar bills, then just comment media down below and I'll reach out and see if we can help you build out that machine. Otherwise, just make sure that you hit subscribe. I mean, you'll watch the video this long. What are you doing? You're not subscribed to the channel yet? Like 60% of people who view these videos are not subscribed to the channel. If that's you, I'm wondering, like, what's up? What's going on? Maybe go down to the comments and let me know why you haven't hit the subscribe button. And just know that me and your mom, we love you regardless. And your dad loves you as well. Just, but we would love you a whole lot more if you'd subscribe. So take that for what it's worth, and I'll see you in the next video.